All right, guys, what's going on? My name is Ollie Ward. Welcome back to the Ollie Ward channel. Hope you've all had a great Wednesday and you're ready for the latest video on the Ollie Ward channel. I'm not by myself today, as you can see. I'm joined by Ger from TheLeedsView. Ger, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm really, really good. Tired after a busy week, but good. Everything's going all right. We'll get into the other stuff. We'll see how
Yeah.
we all feel about that. But personally, yeah, all good.
Yeah, that's all good to hear. So if you do want to see more videos with me and Jer, be sure to smash that like button. Let's go for 350 likes on this video. Subscribe if you're new as well and get your comments in. So today, we're going to just quickly reflect on the transfer window. Will Leeds United stay up? That's the question everyone's asking, and maybe a little chat about Forest this Friday as well. But Jer, well, where else do you start the transfer? We spoke a little bit before the transfer window opened in December. Now the transfer window is shut in February. It was a busy month, rumours-wise, but actually with incomings, quite quiet, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're probably seeing the basis of a shortlist for the summer as well. With some of the players that Leeds were looking at, Romano Schmid being probably one of those that you revisit in the summer. Danilo Doki is a player that they definitely like from and all the credible people have said that. So maybe he's a free transfer in the summer. So they're maybe going to try and box a little bit clever. So I think you're looking at that. We got the explanation on Strand Larsen that it was PSR and it was basically they got in with a loan offer with an obligation to buy him at the end of the season, which once Palace came in with money up front, that was toast.
Yeah.
And we are exactly where we are. I think part of the failure has been to get players out the door and bring in money. That's been an issue over the last two windows. And they need to get better at that. That's something that they definitely need to improve on. Buonanotte is an upgrade on Jack Harrison, so there's a positive there. But yeah, I think, look, there's two sides to transfer window, and I think anyone who's on either side of the fence on this has probably got a valid argument depending on what you come at it. I think, could we have done with an extra one or two? Probably. Do you also want to upset the apple cart of what you've got right now, which is doing fairly okay? He's doing the job they've been asked to do this year. You know, you're kind of sitting there with that. And do you want to break PSR and potentially get a points deduction when it's going to be so tight down there at the bottom of the league? So you got to keep that in mind as well. And then if it works, it's still an if, but if it does all work out, you've got more financial wiggle room in the summer to bring in players on a longer term basis. So yeah, it's there's the entertainment factor of January is always there as well. People want to see players coming in on the headline day, you know, and when they don't come in, it's a bit disaster window. There's a lot of people have actually forgotten we've signed Facundo Buonanotte. People are saying, there we go, another January of doing nothing. Like, well, we did bring in somebody, and he's got 14 games to make an impact between now and the end of the season, and we'll see where we are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Buonanotte, and that's the thing. You forget about him a little bit because of he hasn't featured too much as of right now. Leeds are sort of favouring the 3-5-1-1 ahead of the 3-5-2, dropping with a Brendan Arrington, and arguably you can't really take Brendan Arrington out of the team at the moment. He's had a very good, I don't even know how many games he's had now. He's been very, very good. But I got a bit of a stick, Jer, for calling transfer deadline day a disaster. It was basically just worked for the for the title of the video, but it was one of them where I just thought, in a Leeds sense, that why would you risk it? We done it last year in the Championship when we did have the best squad in the league. You didn't have to really bring too many in.
Yeah.
This time it's going to be competitive. What do you think with that? I mean, I know the likes of people around us, Forest and West Ham, have made signings, but are any of them signings scaring you, or what do you think Leeds made the right decision in the end?
That's the big question, but I don't think any of us are going to know the answer to that until the end of the season. But that stage is going to be too late, But that's we don't know. I mean, the year we got relegated, we brought signings in January, and again, regardless of how it worked out, Weston McKennie at that point looked like a good signing.
Yeah,
it was a disaster by the end of it, but at the time it looked like a good signing, and we weren't in a risky position of going down, and we ended up going down, comfortably. So you don't know, and if you look at it. You've got sides around us that have spent money, a lot of money. Crystal Palace has spent the better part of nearly 100 million quid. So if that doesn't work and they go down, they have a problem next season. Like, there's a fire sale during the summer. West Ham have brought in, I don't know if they're gambles. I mean, Axel Disasi's barely kicked the ball all season. He wasn't registered by Chelsea in their first team squad. He's playing on 21 football. They've got Tadibo, who's going to be out for at least 3 games with a suspension. They've let Igor Julio go back to his club. So they've only really replaced like for like there. The defense is probably still one player weaker. And they've been shipping goals this season. Their problem has been their defense, not their attack. I mean, they've added the damage Traore. Would anyone have really wanted damage Traore in the squad? I don't think that's a marquee signing. As one of the guys I was hanging out with in the Finalysis group the other day said, he'll just go to the end line and whip the ball over the crossbar into the stand. That's what he'll do, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
And then Pablo Felipe and Tati Castanelas have to adjust. The Castanelas looks like a decent hold-up striker, but we've got two of them. So again, there's that. So I don't necessarily think they've got any stronger. They've lost Paqueta, which I think is a big loss for them. Although, they got Fernandez in midfield, who's been very, very good for them. Forest have brought in Luca Netz at left back. That's one I think maybe from Leeds' perspective, it would have been nice to have another left back. And he only cost £4 million, so he would have come in under the PSR. We are stacking players in positions. Then, we are on the fringes of saying, like, we don't need a left back because if Gabby's injured, James Justin's there. But if we get a left back and a right back injury, then Sam Byron's going to have to come in, and then it's starting to weaken the side. No disrespect to Sam, I love Sam, but reality Premier League quality players. So I don't know. Lorenzo Lucas, their big sign up front, 6'7" striker, very Sean Dyche type of player. Has his own issues with disciplinary problems in the past. Andrea Russo said they're not only happy to see him leave the club in Italy, they're happy to see him leave Italy. Full stop. In country of Italy. So it'll be interesting there. Ortega, we talked about Ortega. That's probably a really good signing for them in goal. But he is their fourth first choice goalkeeper over the age of 29. And I say first choice goalkeeper deliberately because all of those keepers were bought to be the number one. So they've got 4 first choice keepers kicking around. We've got 4 keepers. One, Alex Cairns, who's just homegrown player there to help out. Illan Meslier is not going to kick a ball. And then Darlow and Perry. So realistically, we've got 2. Yeah. So I don't know. I think Palace have taken the bigger gamble with the amount of money they spent and their manager leaving at the end of the season. They should have enough quality in their squad to be okay. But we've been doing fine. And the big thing is we have to play all the sides that are down there with us at home, bar West Ham. And if we can win those games, then we look after it ourselves. So it's still very much in our own hands. There's no adjustment period needed for the Leeds squad. It is what it is. It is what it has been. So they've got that chemistry between them that they've had so far. They need to dust off the Arsenal game as quick as they can and put a couple of this slips back into the earlier part of the season, get rid of them quickly and then head off. But you get a win on Friday night against Forest, all of a sudden the narrative will change very quickly.
We'll talk about Forest in a little moment. In simple terms, are you confident that this Leeds side can stay up? I know a lot of it has to do with the teams around us as well, but if we keep winning our games, we're 6 points clear of West Ham after getting battered 4-0. Actually, it turned out to be an all right weekend for Leeds in the end. But, in simple terms, are you confident this team and Daniel Farke can keep Leeds in the Premier League?
Well, the point has been made already this week. If you look at Leeds' goal difference, it's -11, but 9 of them came against Arsenal. So we take them out of it, it's -2. So actually against the rest of the league, we've been okay for where we are in the league. It's relative to where we are in the league. I think the squad has been fine since they've changed formation. I don't want to see us go back to a 4 again. When I saw us go to the 4 against Arsenal, I got worried, and then those worries were, came into reality pretty quickly when we saw our centre backs getting split very easily. So I don't want to see us go back to a 4. I don't want to see Van Farke revert to type. I want to stay with that 3 at the back. It's worked. I would love to see us go back to the 2 up top that we played against Chelsea with Mecha and Calvert-Lewin. Mecha hasn't been fit necessarily for the last couple of weeks, so that hasn't been able to be done. But I thought that was our most effective, most aggressive formation. But again, Brendan Aronson's been very, very good in that system, and he was playing in like an advanced 8 role that day. So, there's options there for them. I think whether or not they will start to get more minutes, and we'll see more of him probably starting the FA Cup game, and that'll be his first 90 minutes. But if they continue to go the way they are, and the only thing is, I said at the start of the season, and because we haven't added any more players to our attack, the same thing applies now. There is a giant if connected to this season, and it's if our strikers don't get injured, if our midfield can continue to go the way they've gone, if our defenders can continue to stay fit as well, then we should be okay. We should have a good enough squad. I mean, Jacobi has been fantastic. Recruitment's been criticised again, but if you look at the signings, I was watching the Lucas Perry videos that are doing the round again over his time in Lyon, and you go,
I saw that.
There's a really good goalkeeper there. It's just not worked here yet. Like that, give us him. So you've still got that. Sean Longstaff is coming back from injury. Dan James is coming back from injury. So those areas are strengthening. And Biel's been very good. Longstaff has been very good. Stack has been very good. Gabby Goodmanson's been excellent for us this season. Calvert-Lewin and Metro, when they've been playing, have been absolutely fine. So I think the recruitment's been decent. Probably didn't get the volume that we needed in, but we didn't have the money. Hopefully in the summer under the new SCR model, we've got a little bit more of a leeway and another year in the Premier League. So if we can stay up, but
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's just it all comes down to the approach and how we play. I think the squad is good enough to stay in the league. I said it when we were going through our bad run that I thought the squad was good enough, but I just thought the approach was wrong. The approach has been changed. If we just keep to that and stay the course with that, I think we can be okay. But we can't get wobbly and we can't lose our nerve.
Do you I mean, you just quickly touch on Lucas Perry right then. Do you think it's time you put him back in goal? Does he need to get his confidence back, or would you stick with Darlow?
I'd stick with Darla for now, just for another couple of weeks at least. The issue is they both got weaknesses in their game, but Carl Darlow does most of the basics quite well.
Mhm.
But he's always been a backup goalkeeper in the Premier League. He's rarely been, and that tells you an awful lot. It's not just Leeds, it's Newcastle, it's other clubs that he's been at as well. He has an error in him, and somebody did say after the match reaction at the weekend, yeah, he flopped it in his own net, but has he done that again this season? It's like, yeah, Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Went through his legs, hit off his ankle, and went in the back of the net. You know, so he did it for Wales as well this year. So he's had a couple. But you take them away, and overall his distribution is excellent. But there's not a huge amount. If you look at the statistics and goals conceded, percentages of goals conceded versus games, distribution, averages, there's not a huge amount with them. Darlow just has the edge on Perry. But the Perry thing is, and I thought we were getting a very good goalkeeper in Perry. If you're getting the version that they saw at Lyon, I mean, there's a lot of clips doing the rounds of the French Cup final against Paris Saint-Germain. He makes some incredible saves. He's very different to normal. He doesn't make orthodox goalkeeper type saves. No. Like, he palms a lot of things, even balls on the ground. He palms them forward a little bit. So, but I just don't think he's settled. I just don't think he's adjusted well enough, and that might take time. And unfortunately, Leeds don't have time. So, when's the right time to put him back in? I don't know, but I think it has to be revisited in the summer. Darlow's out of contract. If Perry's not going to be the number one going into next season, and Baron Cross made a very good point this week of saying, well, he'll be second choice by the end of the season if Darlow stays in goal. So does he then just become first choice again automatically for the new season, or what do you do there? But I think there is an adjustment. Maybe when the weather gets a bit better, because he is Brazilian in France. So
that is true.
It's an adjustment there, but he has to get used to it pretty quickly. So like I've said this before about other goalkeepers, I think we're very quick to point finger blame at our goalkeepers. I mean, he got hammered for the Newcastle winner. For me personally, Harvey Barnes is allowed to turn on the edge of the box with 5 Leeds defenders between him and the goal, not marking anybody else bar Harvey Barnes, and he's let get a shot away without anybody blocking that shot. I thought that was criminal defending. Yeah, he should do better, but before it even gets to him, it should have been blocked, and Barnes should have been pushed out of the box. He should have been no turn. So we automatically go to the last person who is at the ball and go, him. It's his fault. But I always say, if you go back a phase or two, you'll start to find where the real problems tend to be. So I don't know. There's not much between the two of them, but I think I'd stick with Darlow right now. And I think Farke is going to stick with Darlow. But I do think, I know Farke is quite happy today and he's saying everything is fine in the camp with the transfer window and all that. But I do think his comments last week about the goalkeeper were telling, where when he was asked about goalkeeper transfers, he said that he can't honestly answer that question. He'll talk more about the window when the window is closed. Doesn't want to get into it. And you're like, yeah, that's the opposite answer than you could have given there. Like, you could have just said, they're fine. Question answered, move on. But not saying that you're not really confident in your goalkeepers, are you? No, he didn't want Perry. He wanted Milinkovic-Savic, I believe. Milinkovic-Savic didn't want to come to Leeds and didn't want to come to the Premier League, wanted to stay in Italy. So that was off the table. The board wanted somebody else. I think it might have been Petrovic they wanted. He's had a tough time at Bournemouth and he's a decent keeper as well. And they settled in the middle on Lucas Perry, who, again, when you look at his numbers in France last year, when you look at what his manager said about him in France last year, described him as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And then you look at what we've got, you're like, there's something not adding up here.
Yeah.
But this is statistically his worst ever season in professional football. You look at every club he's been with before that, miles better. So right now, Leeds is the common denominator, not the goalkeeper. So he needs to fix a couple of things. He needs to settle in quickly, because I do think there's a decent keeper in there. Will his distribution improve? Probably not. But that's the trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can't remember the last time Leeds employed a good goalkeeper that you felt safe with in
Rob
years.
Green.
Yeah, to be fair, I always say Rob Green. I go back to Rob Green genuinely.
And he got hammered at the start as well. Like,
I know.
He came in first because he had that QPR game where I think he palmed the ball down and it bounced and hit him into the net. But after that, he was fantastic for Leeds.
Yeah,
so
and we got him on it was a free as well, wasn't it?
A free transfer, yeah.
Brilliant. But no, I think, I mean, the next time we might see Lucas Perry might be obviously the FA Cup game, and I think that maybe be a game to bring him in. But we'll touch on Forest in 1 second. Just a quick one. I'm going to chuck this at you. Everyone fit. What is your strongest squad for Leeds United going into the remainder of the game? Say everyone's fit and firing. Where would you go?
Darlow, full wing backs, Bogle, Goodmanson, three at the back, Bial in the centre, Rodon on the right, Stroke on the left. Midfield three, Ampadu, Stack.
That's that hard one, isn't it? The next midfielder.
Longstaff or Tanaka for me. I like what Ilya Groove does defensively, but if you want to go forward and be more progressive, you need somebody else in there. I would say Longstaff, he's fully fit. And then Mecha and DCL up. Taking Aronson out that side. Stick Aronson instead of Longstaff and put the DCL and Mecha up top. Back to that Chelsea line.
Yeah, see, mine's exactly the same with Ampadu, Stack, Aronson, and then Mecha and DCL. So let's talk
The
Forest.
fact that we have that little wobble in the middle, where we're like, we're not sure, but that tells you you've got a bit of depth there. And you've got, because you're not sure. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's very good because, like you say, you can go defensive, play Gruev. You've got Tanaka, where I think Tanaka's a good sort of midfielder at the moment to bring on when Leeds are on the front foot. I think. Yeah. I actually want to see Longstaff start this Friday. So let's talk about Forest now.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he will bring just something else in that midfield that Leeds have been missing the last few weeks. This is a game where Leeds should be on top at Ellen Road under the lights against, actually one of the few teams below us. I know that only, on goal difference and things like that. But what are your thoughts on Forest? Is it as big game as everyone's making out? Because I think this is a huge game.
If you look at Leeds' remaining home fixtures, Forest, Man City, Sunderland, Brentford, Wolves, Burnley, Brighton. If you can beat Forest, Sunderland, Wolves, and Burnley, that's 12 points. You need 14 to stay in the Premier League, possibly. You need probably 4 wins and 3 draws. And that means you can try and pick up a couple of points along the way elsewhere. So 5 wins will do it. 4 wins and 3 draws will do it. 3 wins and 3 draws will get you 38. That's historically been enough over the last 8-9 years. This is where you've got to start it. This is for me, is because this damages them as well. Yeah. This puts that they now need another win to close the gap on you. And if West Ham go and beat Burnley, which is completely possible, even though they are away from home, Burnley were awful against Sunderland. All of a sudden, West Ham are breathing down Forest's neck, and we've got that little bit of a buffer still. We're still 6 points ahead of them with goal difference, and now we're 3 ahead of Forest, and they're getting into their own little mini battle, and we can just start to get out of that conversation a little bit. So yeah, I think it's a really important game. I'm going to that game as well, so I would be nice to not fly to the UK twice in 1 week and be disappointed twice in 1 week. So that would be nice. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's huge. I think you win it. I think they come to draw. I think a draw is a good enough result for Forest. I think they'd be very happy with a draw. They've other games coming up. They've Wolves next. They'll target that for 3 points. So, and they're at home in that game. So yeah, for me, this is a big game for Leeds, because then you've got Chelsea, Villa, Man City after that. And you might not get any points in those 3 games. If you can get a point away to Villa or Chelsea, great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. Man City at home, it's a home game. You never know what will happen. Maybe we'll get the Arsenal game out of our system. We might cause a shock. But then you come into the games where Leeds are going to look to pick up points.
Yeah.
Palace away, Brentford at home, Man United, maybe not so much away, maybe a point.
Yeah.
Then you got Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, Burnley at home. There's 3 games there. So I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, the gap between Leeds and the bottom 3 might get smaller before it gets bigger, if that makes sense.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah. And it looked like that was going to be the case before Chelsea got that winner against West Ham.
God.
The thing is, it's such... I'm always nervous watching Leeds, but I do have that bit of confidence. And I think a lot of other fans say they don't want to come to Ellen Road. They don't want to play Leeds, apart from the Arsenal games where I've kind of thought this... I didn't really think too much was going to happen. Every game I'm watching Leeds United this season, that's credit to Farke, credit to the players, I feel like we can go and win it. And I think on Friday night, Leeds United need to start on the front foot. We can't be... I know we will, but we can't, like you say, revert back to a 4. We can't revert back to sitting back and allowing pressure from Forest, because Forest have got some half-decent players. But if you could give me a very early score prediction, could you do that?
2-0 Leeds.
I like it. I like that. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Leeds. And I wish you all the best on, going. I hope the atmosphere is brilliant. And I hope for your sake, we get 3 points.
I just don't want to see us playing out from the back. No tippy tappy, no playing it from the back. Go back, look at the games that we did well in. Look at the games where our absolute most effective. Revert to that. Crystal Palace, first half. Chelsea, absolutely Chelsea. And in the games after that, like we've been so good at home and being aggressive. Get stuck into them, not just for one half, for two halves. Let's knock this, come out in the second half and sit on the 18-yard line. Back on this creep back in recent weeks. Get that out of the system. If you can start both halves strong against Nottingham Forest, we could get a result here. We have to hit them early. And this is the one for me where it tells us if we've turned the corner or not, because we were so bad against them at the City Ground. This gives us a chance to actually look at it and go, if we can beat these, we fix that.
Yeah. I think that was arguably one of our worst performances this season at their
Brighton.
place. Yeah, and Brighton. I mean, there were 2 games in a row. Terrible. But Leeds have turned a corner, and hopefully we can get a win this Friday. Ger, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on my channel. What you got coming up on your channel?
We podcast out last night talking a little bit about the window, and then we're getting over it. We're just going to move past it. And then we talked about the remaining fixtures and what our competition have done in the transfer market as well. So kind of a longer conversation we've had here. Today's news is out as well. And then we've got news tomorrow, and then we'll have the preview on Thursday night.
Lovely job, Ger. Thank you so much for joining me on the Ollie Ward channel. If you do enjoy these discussions with me and Ger, be sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new, and get your score predictions for Leeds United versus Forest in the comments down below. I've been Ollie Ward, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheery.